Salut tout le monde! Welcome back to Unintentionally Frenchified. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and of course hit that little bell symbol so that you can get a notification every time I'm coming at ya with new videos. I did a video a couple weeks ago about American problems that Europeans or French cannot understand, so I figured it was only fair to turn the tables and do a video about French problems that Americans absolutely can't understand or relate to. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought, if there are things I should add to the list. Otherwise, I'm just gonna jump right into it. C'est parti! I've got to start out with this one because it's January and the first of the year. Happy New Year! Bonne année! There is a hardcore tradition in France of wishing everybody and their mother a Happy New Year. When I say hardcore though, I mean hardcore. This isn't just like you've got to wish the person next to you at your New Year's party a Happy New Year. This is like you need to wish everybody in your family, you need to wish all your friends, your neighbors, people you pass on the street, and don't even get me started with the colleagues. You better make sure that every email that you send to them for the first time after the first of the year starts out with Happy New Year. Otherwise, you are very, very mal poli. The US doesn't have anything really like this. Of course, we wish people a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Thanksgiving maybe, but there's not really this pressure of making sure you've wished everybody, otherwise it's gonna be seen as really rude. I've been with Robin for 8 years, and literally for the last 1st of January, he is remembering somebody at 10 p.m. at night when we're crawling into bed, and he's like, I didn't wish my cousin's cousin Happy New Year, hold on, and he grabs his phone and he does it. Very stressed out. There is not a joke about Happy New Year in France. It is very serious. French problems. It is very hard sometimes to do a video about France without mentioning the strikes. Somebody actually told me on one of my recent videos about becoming French, and they said the only thing you can do now to be more French is to join a strike, and I was dying because it is very, very true. It is such a French problem, the strikes. I remember trying to explain to my mom when she came last year for Eleanor's birth that the public transportation wasn't working, but it wasn't working for weeks. This wasn't just a day strike. I think that's kind of the difference, is you definitely can strike in the US, but in France, these can be very long, drawn out strikes. I mean, it's a very French problem. For example, the year that the SNCF was striking and we all had to buy train tickets ahead of time, knowing that it was possible that the strike schedule was going to come out and that our trains wouldn't be going, but crossing your fingers that they weren't striking on the day of your train so that you'd still be able to get a train and a seat. I mean, is this point going to be the biggest French problem of them all? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. What about the traffic jams caused the last weekend of July? The entire country, it seems like, it's not the entire, but it's almost everyone, takes an extended holiday in July and August in France. It's kind of funny too because this is another maybe French problem, but you're either a July vacation family where you've kind of grown up taking the month of July off with your family, and so then you do that as an adult with your own family, or you're an August family and you take your time off in August, and it's already a pretty serious, do you take your time off in July or do you take summer holidays in August? It's already a dividing thing, French problem. But on top of that, there's also the fact that the last weekend of July is the weekend where all of the July vacationers are coming back home and all of the August vacationers are leaving on holiday, meaning that it is a complete shit show on the highways trying to move anywhere. They call it a chassé-croisé, and it is the biggest pain in the ass you could ever do to try to go anywhere during this period. Even the national traffic, it's called Bison Futé, if I remember correctly, they classify this day as a black day. Normally in terms of traffic and how heavy it is, it's green or orange or yellow. No, it's not even red, huh? It is black on this day. So if you've ever been stuck in that traffic, that is a very French problem. It's like the 4th of July traffic, but on steroids. I did it for the first time this summer with a baby in the car. I recommend it to no one, even without children. Not necessary. The Galette de Rois overload is another very French problem related to the month of January. Have you ever eaten the same dessert almost on a regular basis for a month straight and then never wanted to eat it or touch it again for the rest of the year? Or imagine that you just don't like we all don't like certain things. You don't like a certain pastry or a certain dessert, but this is the designated dessert of the month. And at every social gathering that you go to, people are serving you and proposing you this dessert. This is a very specific French problem in January, the Galette de Rois. The French Galette de Rois tradition actually dates back ages ago to the Roman time, when what they would do is they would bake a cake at the beginning of the year and they would stick a little porcelain figure inside of the cake. And then they'd cut up pieces and serve it to everyone. And the person with the piece with the porcelain figure inside of it, and the Roman time, was actually treated like a king for the day. And now you have like a little paper crown and you put it on your head if you've got the little porcelain figure. But the thing is even though it started off as a tradition that you did one time at the beginning of the year, now it's more of a tradition where the French eat galette de Rois throughout the entire month. The cake is delish and it's full of almond paste and tons of butter, and the crust is flaky and it melts in your mouth, and I love it. But I do understand why a lot of French people are just happy to see it go at the end of the month, because if you ask anyone to eat too much of a good thing, it just doesn't end up being that good in the end. And so you kind of get an overload in the month of January, to the point where like sometimes people are like, Sophie invited us over. It's like, oh, well, you know that there's going to be a galette de Rois. Well, maybe we'll say no this time and we'll try to propose something in February. Stores closing on random days or even during times throughout the day is not a problem that Americans can really understand, but the French definitely can. The French are pretty used to things being closed during lunch hours. So from 12 to 2, especially if you live in a small town, most things besides maybe your grocery store and restaurants will be open, but all of the businesses are going to be closed. It's funny though, because I like to joke that the post office next to our house is closed the entire day and only open for 30 minutes, because there's so many times that I go to the post office during their open hours and there's either a handwritten note saying that they are exceptionally closed, or they're just closed and there's no handwritten note. And this happens to all of the French people as well when you're trying to, go to the laundromat, pick up a package, just running a random errand and being told that the place is open and getting there and the door's locked in front of your face. It's such a natural French problem to have, and it's just not even surprising anymore. Can you imagine rolling up to, a Walgreens in the US and just having closed? And I don't recommend trying to do some neighborhood shopping during the month of August, especially if you don't live in a vacation like seaside resort town, because most people, gone. Ever tried to avoid saying the word you in a sentence when you're talking to someone because you're not sure what formal or informal you should be using? If you're French, you're probably saying, yes, I have. If you speak English, you're probably saying, what? A total French language problem, and other languages too, but that's not English, is the fact that there are two different ways to say the word you. There's a very formal way to say it, and there's a very informal way to say it. But sometimes the rules to when you should be using the formal versus the informal can be a bit fuzzy, even for the French. And then you're in a discussion where you're crossing your fingers and hoping that the other person uses the word you first so that you know how to address them back. But you've got to be careful, because even then it's not always clear, because if you've got someone who's quite a bit older than you, then they might address you in the informal you, but still expect you to address them them in the formal use. So if you use informal with them because they used informal, then you might come across as being impolite or rude. I mean, if you're an English speaker and you're lost right now, it's completely normal. This is very much a French problem. Formal versus informal you. What do I do? Grabbing your daily baguette is probably not something that you're doing unless you live in France. So this in itself could be a French problem if you consider buying warm, flaky, beautiful bread a problem. But if you're not picking up your daily fix of French bread, then you probably don't have the problem of what happens when you forget to pick up your bread and your baguette from the day before is stale. Because yes, my non-Frenchy friends, baguettes can go stale very quickly. Now, there are lots of ways to store your bread so that it doesn't go stale as fast, but honestly, if you don't wrap a towel around your baguette or do something specific to it and you just leave it overnight, the thing is hard as a rock the next day. I mean, like you could almost like chip a tooth on it. It is really hard. So you're either stuck, well, just eating hard rock bread or making toast so that it's like more edible. It's not like the sliced Wonder Bread that we've got in the States that will last for like a couple of weeks in the drawer. I mean, it doesn't taste the same either, but anyways, you don't really have to worry about buying a pack of bread and then the next day opening up the package and being like, what? Bread's no good anymore. So bread in France is bought every day because it's amazing and you just want fresh bread every day, but it's also because it gets stale. All right, guys, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed those French problems that Americans can't understand. I would love to hear what you thought in the comments below. I left in the description a link so that you can send me any of ideas that you have for future videos. And I'm also starting something on Instagram that's Tuesday Talks, where I answer all of your questions Tuesday night by story. So if you've got any questions as well, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below on the video or, of course, on Instagram. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week. Bisous!